Grandma, what big ears you've got, said Little Red Riding Hood as she edged closer to the bed.
All the better to hear you with,
replied the wolf. But Grandma, what big eyes you've got, said Little Red Riding Hood.
All the better to see you with,
replied the wolf. But Grandma, what big teeth you've got. Now, it doesn't sound like Red Riding Hood is the sharpest knife in the drawer, does it? But when you come to the Sermon on the Mount, it seems that disciples of Jesus can be equally deceived in what we read today. Matthew 7 and verse 15. Watch out, Jesus says, for false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves. Jesus wants to warn us in the community of faith that not everybody is what they look like. Not everybody's a sheep. In fact, some are sheep and looking a little bit like wolves, but others are wolves looking like sheep. And how can we tell the difference? Context in every Bible exposition is key. We need to again remind ourselves that Jesus is talking in Matthew 7 about the life of the disciple, the flourishing life, the life in the Spirit, is someone who lives a life of discernment. Not easy judgmentalism, but discerning what a person says and how a person lives. And what he is saying here is that not in the context of the way, the narrow door, not everybody who comes in and looks like a Christian, speaks like a Christian, has the vocabulary of the Christian is necessarily a Christian. In fact, the way in which we are to discern and tell the difference is the way in which they live and the things that they don't say as much as the things they do say. What do I mean? What does Jesus mean? The Christian life, the life of the disciple, is a life of going through a narrow gate. Jesus is the only way. It is a life of self-denial, taking up a cross and following him. It is making daily choices to deny yourself. False prophets won't say that. False prophets won't agree that Jesus is the only way. False prophets won't agree that the narrow way is the way to live the Christian life. They want to tell you, a little bit like worldly wise men in Pilgrim's Progress, that you can have it all. There is a broad way: health, wealth, prosperity, life, joy, everything you need, and Jesus. And Jesus is saying here to us, the way to follow him, the way to flourish, is to live a life of discernment and not listen to wolves in sheep's clothing.